Welcome to the Online Trainer Show, where we help fitness and nutrition pros take better care of their clients and build profitable businesses. I'm Jonathan Goodman, and as always, I'm joined by Amber Reynolds. We're happy you're here. Let's start the show. So we both love this topic. Yes. So this is such a good one. Do I need a large social media following to be an online trainer? Because the answer is so unequivocally no. But I want to explain why that is, and I want to give you 3 different examples of 3 different trainers in the real world today crushing it in 3 different ways without large social media followings. And it's so, this idea, there's a few things that I think come in here. The first one is online training saturated? Right? There's so many people with big social media followings. Is it saturated? The answer is no. It's saturated if you compete the same way as people with big followings. We talked about that with, how do I compete with brands like Peloton? It's the same. How do you compete with like big Instagram influencers like those people? You don't compete with them, right? You play your own game. There's this thing called the long tail, which was by somebody named Chris Anderson, who wrote a book about it called The Long Tail, if you want to look it up. I mean, I'm going to explain basically what the book said, so I read the 300 pages so you don't have to. And the idea is when decentralization happens, which is what's happened basically everywhere. He's talking about it in business. He talks about it in terms of Amazon and stuff like that. Like Amazon decentralized book sales, right? Basically meant instead of having a bookstore with a couple thousand books, you can get every single book ever in the history of the world basically to your house because it's decentralized. So when that happens, a long tail effect happens. And what's happened with online training is, of course, fitness has become decentralized. Now, anybody who wants to hire a fitness coach can hire anybody in the world whenever they want, whyever they want, right? And so it's become decentralized. There's no gatekeepers, basically. You're on your own. Your success is your success, which is really, really, really exciting. Because whenever there's a long tail, what happens is that there's a few organizations and conglomerates that basically win out on one end of it. Like really, really big, like the Amazons. Like basically, it's a monopoly or nothing, is what happens. And we see this, right? We're seeing this happen in the fitness industry with brands like Peloton and stuff like that. Like basically, there's going to be one company, there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 companies that are basically just going to buy up everybody and just like wipe everybody else out on the big scale, right? You don't need to worry about that. Because on the opposite side, on the long tail, what happens is there's almost infinite amount of opportunities that come up for small independent providers. And this is the reason why I say that every single online trainer, if they understand what I'm about to say, should easily be able to build a business worth a couple $100,000 from their basement, from their home gym, from wherever they are. It doesn't have to be internationally. It doesn't even have to be, as you'll see, outside of their community. It doesn't even have to be 100% online. But you do have to understand that there are certain advantages that you have in a decentralized market that you need to take advantage of. And if you don't, you're going to get knocked out. If you do, there's almost infinite amount of opportunities. Amazon has made it so independent publishers like me can write my own book in my 1-bedroom apartment when I was 23 years old after a 12-hour day with clients and self-publish it and put it on Amazon and 10 years later have the best-selling book for personal trainers on Amazon. Nobody would publish me. What a ridiculous concept. But my work was good, and my work was for a very specific audience, and it hit that audience in the right way. Still, nobody would publish me. I mean, maybe in marketing, I might get published, but I wouldn't get a big deal. And so it's this idea of they're almost in, and I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar business off of that one book. Nobody gave me permission. Everything was bootstrapped from day one, right? As I made money, I reinvested it. I built more stuff. I made more money. I have no investment. I have no partners. I own 100% of the company. This is what you can do with this long tail thing, right? I'm proof positive of it, that when decentralization happens, there is an almost unlimited amount of opportunities, which is why I'm so passionate about this thing, which is why I'm so fired up about this thing. It is so exciting. But You have to understand how to hit your 1% uniqueness. So I'm going to give you a few examples here. Do you need a large social media following? No, you don't. You need the right kind of social media following or the right kind of connections, as you'll see. You might not even need a social media following. I'm actually going to give you a fourth example here. That's my wife. And I'm going to tell you that at the end, because what she's doing at 7 a.m. in the morning is pretty spectacular. And with she hasn't made a single social media post. She hasn't written a single advertisement. And she could fill an entire personal training business overnight with one text message right now. It's amazing. I'll tell you that story right at the end of this episode. First, I want to tell you about Marc-Andre Sears. Marc-Andre Sears will do $600,000, $700,000 this year. He is French-Canadian. When he first came to us, he was actually a high school math teacher when he first came to us and was looking for a way to get out of teaching. So he went through the precursor to the Online Trainer Academy. At that point, it was called 1K Extra. Took it. And then we worked with him a little bit, and he basically had an option to deliver his services in French or English. And he said, there's a lot more people who speak English than French. I feel like French is too small of a market. It's like, you're telling me people who speak French is too small of a market for you? Nah, bro, that ain't it. In fact, because there aren't many people who are targeting the French market, you have a massive opportunity. What do you think he did? Targets the French market, does transformation type programs, absolutely crushing it. His staff are his ex-clients that are working for him. They've gone through his program, they're his biggest boosters, and like I said, I actually haven't spoken to him recently about numbers. My guess is he'll pass 700,000 this year. If not, I think he's already at 400 or 500. He has no social media. Look him up, Marc-Andre Sears. It's he's got a Facebook page of, I think, 800 people. Really. I don't even know if he has Instagram. I think he has Instagram. Another example, Alex Pfeiffer. Alex Pfeiffer is a great example because he's somebody who initially struggled when he started working with us, the Online Trainer Academy. He did a launch, and he had some success with it. And he was, training guys who wanted to look better in a t-shirt, right? He did a launch. He had some success with the first launch. He's like, hell yeah, everything's good. Then he did a second launch, and it went a little bit worse. Then he did a third launch, and it went a little bit worse. And this is not an uncommon thing. What happens is the first launch that he did was the first time where he had any kind of organized marketing. Even though the message wasn't that good, he had a bunch of people in his network that were ready to buy. So they bought. Then there wasn't many other people. So he came to us, and he came to our mentors at the Online Trainer Academy, and he basically said, what the heck's happening? You guys promised me that this is going to be a repeatable process. And we're like, well, you never differentiated yourself. And I think he worked with, was it Ren Jones he worked with, Amber? Yeah, so he worked with Ren Jones, and he basically, Ren said to him, it's like, all right, man, what's unique about you? What's special about you? Well, Alex loves craft beer. Alex loves brewing his own beer. That's what he's passionate about. Ren said, that's got to be your market, man. Guys who love craft beer who still want to look good. That's a great market. That's you. Oh, but I can't do that. Beer and fitness, they don't go together. Do it. Try it. He built I think it was Beers and Barbells, I think is his Facebook group. His program is, what is it? It's something like Keg to Six Pack or something. All of his branding, all of his programs are about beer. His content is about beer. He talks about calorie counting and how you have to go within a specific calorie range to look the way that you want to look. But he talks about it in the context of and if you want to have that beer on the weekend, totally cool. A beer is this many calories. Here's how it fits in. It dictates everything he does. So he has this little group now of people who love craft beer, guys who love craft beer who also want to look really good. And what do you think happened? Numbers start going up again, right? He's crushing it. Now you look at Michael Bider is a different example. So you've got, Marc-Andre Sears, right? Crushing it with French market. You've got Mike Bider. So Marc didn't so much differentiate really tightly. Instead, he found an underserved market at the time, right? Alex Pfeiffer differentiated really, really tightly and built all of his programming around that. Now you have Mike Bider, who basically said, I love online training, but I love seeing people in person too. I'm going to build a hybrid local business. So that's what he did. Most people still don't understand online training enough to be able to offer a radically better service to clients in a gym by leveraging online, to be able to offer a client more for their money, a better service, and to be able to target people better. Mike and his girlfriend, who now works with him, will do $250,000 to $300,000 a year, year after year. They've repeated this a bunch of years, and they love it. They see people in person in the gym, and they do hybrid support online at the same time, and they support people really uniquely there. They don't have a single client who lives outside of the radius of their gym. There's no social media involved there, right? There's this crazy misconception that if you're going to be successful anywhere today, you need to have this internet presence. It's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. Allison, my beautiful wife, has 4 to 6 women in her garage every single morning at 7 a.m. working out. She doesn't charge them anything. She just was working out at 7 a.m. in the morning with the garage open. And people walked by and she invited them. And as I said in my book, Ignite the Fire, one of the women happens to be a bit of a maven in the neighborhood, just started inviting everybody else. Now we have, she has a text message list that she sends a text to, and they are there every morning, and these women can show up or not show up however they want. There's over a dozen women there. And they straight up tell her, they're like, you need to charge us for this. These are women who have actually left, and I feel kind of bad about this, but these are women who have actually left their personal trainer to work in this little workout group. The personal trainer is unequivocally more equipped. Now, Allison used to be a personal trainer, but is not building workouts for these people. There's nothing individualized. But what is she giving these people? She's giving them a community. She's giving them a group. She's giving them what they need right now, which is not to have a lot of pressure, which is huge. And the other trainer who was working with one of the women, which is the situation that I know more, was not providing her client with what she actually needed. She was doing what a quote-unquote trainer should do. Allison could literally send a text message to this list tomorrow and say, I'm going to start training, and I need 10 more women. And she would have them. Not a single social media post. Not a single advertisement. No email list. You don't need a social media following. You need to be a human. You need to connect with humans. You are selling the most important product in the world. Fitness, health, vitality. You're selling people the ability to run with their kids for longer, to be with their families for longer. You do not need to post pithy nonsense on social media in order to attract clients. You need to connect with real humans in real ways, and it probably should start in your community. It probably should. Allison has this idea that she wants to start a crafting business. I love it. I think it's great. And it's this concept of basically crafting in a box. And I won't tell you more about it. There's a bit of a unique hook to it, but it's this idea of crafting in a box. And there's lots of fun stuff you can do online. You can do Zoom craft circles. You could do all this great stuff like that. But she was really struggling. She built an Instagram page. She started connecting with other craft Instagram pages. She started stressing about all of the content that she had to build. She started spending all of this time. I was like, honey, ignore all of that shit. Here's what you do. Type in Microsoft Word in big, bold font, do you love crafts? I do too. I'm looking for women to craft with. I'll buy the materials. We can do it on Zoom, or you can get together outside at our place. You just reimburse me for the materials. If you're interested, scan this QR code or enter your email here and you have a website. And it's just an email list. My guess And so you charge, the materials. One of the things that appeals to me about this business is it's kind of like these food delivery services where basically they, send you like $4 worth of food and they charge you $20 for it because they've portioned it out. The problem with crafting is that all of these crafts are like intricate and you need like little bits of a whole bunch of things that you can only buy in bulk. And so the nice thing is for like $1, you could basically buy all the beads and the strings and everything that everybody would need for a kit. You can easily charge $20 for it. So the margins are really good. So I like it from a business model from that perspective. But the idea here is we haven't done this, so I can't say whether it works or not, but like, this is the idea. It starts in the community. It starts personally. It starts by being a real human doing shit that you actually like, connecting with people that you actually want to connect with, genuinely. And then it expands from there because people feel that. People see fakeness. People understand fakeness on the internet. If you were to put up a sign in your neighborhood that's just like, I'm working out in the park. I think everybody should do this. I work out in the park every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. If you want to join me, I'm going to be here. You're going to get some people who are going to join you. And then they're going to like other people. And you do it as a charity thing. And you say, if you want to donate some money to charity, we're all going to come together and vote on a charity to donate to. And then you pull those people in and be in your clients because they're all going to ask because they're going to love you. That's how this stuff works. Like this is how you connect with people. You don't need to. Social media is it's in your face and you see it. But, man, I can't stress enough just how insignificant it is on the grand scale.
The big takeaway for me with this is leaning into the things that you enjoy doing, right? So if you just despise social media for whatever reason, give yourself permission to find another way to connect with people. It doesn't have to be through that. So If you are someone who loves socializing and, go to I'm joining like a board game group.
Hell yeah.
Right? And so,
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And now the best part is you will probably be the only personal trainer in the board game group.
Yep. So, yeah, because it can be exhausting. Social media can be really draining. So if that's just not your thing, give yourself permission to try different things.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. It's so interesting that there's this narrative these days that in order to be successful doing anything, you have to have an online presence. I think that there's more opportunity locally to build community-based awareness around what you do and have things grow from there than just about anything else. Where is it least noisy? Everybody's trying to build SEO campaigns and Facebook ad campaigns and all this shit. Nobody's knocking on doors and saying like, hey, bro, I'm doing this thing. You want to come hang out?
When we lean into being human, things tend to work a lot better.
Amazing, isn't it? Who would have thought?
It's crazy. It's a crazy world out there, John.
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll go check it out. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Make sure that you subscribe and leave us a review, and we will talk at you all next time.